What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we're going to be doing a NASCAR silly season update here on the channel. We're going to be recapping everything that's happened from the beginning of 2022 all the way up to this point on December the 17th. As we get closer to the start of 2023, let's recap everything that's happened in the silly season. To kick off the NASCAR silly season would kick off on the day of the Daytona 500, when Chase Elliott announced he had signed a 5-year contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports, that he will continue driving Hendrick Motorsports at least through the 2027 season, and during that time, I think he will win some championships. It'd be a little bit before the next silly season move would happen down the road, and then it would be announced that William Byron has signed a multi-year contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports through the 2025 season. So, William Byron will continue driving Hendrick Motorsports for the next 3 seasons, and I think he'll probably get a long-term extension down the road as he will continue driving for Hendrick Motorsports. Silly season will continue and be quiet for a little bit, and then in June, silly season would pick up a little bit as Nice Motorsports and Cody Efau was on the Davey Siegel podcast, and basically Cody Efau said that Nice Motorsports is eyeing some Cup starts in 2023 with Carson Hocevar. Now we'll talk about Carson Hocevar here in just a little bit, but Nice Motorsports could jump up to the Cup Series as early as next year, with giving Carson Hocevar some potential starts. On National Weekend, silly season would pick up once again with a couple major silly season signings. First, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would announce on the Friday that he signed a multi-year contract extension with JTG Daugherty Racing. While the number of years is not clear, I would think it was a 2 to 3 year deal with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as he looks to try to get his first win with JTG Daugherty. He has not won with the team. He'll be looking to make the playoffs for the first time with JTG Daugherty Racing in 2023. On that same day, Mark Truex Jr. would confirm that he would be returning to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2023. There had been rumors and rumblings that Mark Truex Jr. was going to retire at the end of the 2022 season, but at the National Weekend, he officially confirmed that that would not be the case, and he'd be returning to JGR in 2023 and be looking to win his second Cup Series championship. It'd be a couple weeks before silly season would basically heat up, and then it would be announced that Emerling Gase Motorsports will be running 2 full-time entries in 2023. One of their entries will be a full-time driver. The other car will have split drivers, where basically multiple different drivers will drive that second car. Excited to see that Emerling Gase Motorsports is expanding in 2023, and they look to be stronger heading into the 2023 season. So this season will be quiet for a little bit, and then it pick up a little bit once again as it would be announced that Ty Dillon will not return to Petty GMS in 2023. Now, Ty Dillon does have a ride heading into the 2023 season, but this confirmed that Ty Dillon will be out of Petty GMS. His roles have really had not shown for it, so that's why he will not be returning to Petty GMS. Around the Pocono weekend, it would actually be announced that Matt DiBenedetto would be returning to Raku WAR Racing in 2023. Matt DiBenedetto picked up his first Kurt Camp World Truck Series victory at Talladega earlier this year in the fall, and I think Matty D could have a really strong year with Rackley. There's some really strong competition leaving the Truck Series in 2023 to jump up to Xfinity and even Cup as well. So I think Matt DiBenedetto could have a really strong year in 2023 with the Rackley group. A couple weeks later, it would be announced that Eric Jones has signed a multi-year contract extension with Petty GMS Motorsports. Eric Jones coming off of a very, very strong and a really, really great season. It's not a surprise. He won this 500 in 2022 and will look to continue to have a really strong year heading into 2023. Looks to have a really strong year. Then out of nowhere, in the middle of August, there would be this random German team called 3F Racing that would show up. And they would basically reveal they'd be entering select Cup Series races in 2023. Now, 3F Racing initially was going to make some select Cup starts in 2022, but they now are pushing that back to 2023 to make select starts, and they will look to run 8 to 10 races. Rumors are that Justin Allgaier and Kaz Grala could drive that ride in 2020. Well, actually, Justin Allgaier could drive the ride. I'm not sure who else could end up driving the entry. Silly season be quiet for about a week or two, and then it will be announced that Sam Mayer will be returning to Junior Motorsports in 2023, driving the number 1 entry. Sam Mayer did not win in 2022, but did have some really solid runs, and I think made it to the round of 8 as well. So Sam Mayer looks to be much stronger heading into 2023, and looks to have a very solid year in the 2023 season. And then in the middle of August, once again, it would be officially announced after rumors and rumblings ran around that Noah Gragson will be going to Petty GMS Racing in 2023, driving the number 42 car. Now, eventually, after about a month or two of speculation on who the crew chief was going to be, it was announced that Luke Lambert will crew chief for Noah Gragson in 2023. Noah Gragson coming off a very strong year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series after scoring 8 wins and being up front in many races throughout the season. I expect Noah Gragson to be a decent contender and have some strong runs. Luke Lambert is a really big pickup for the team, and I think he'll be a really strong contender in 2023. Then we would have a couple other major silly season signings that would happen around the Michigan weekend. First, Ryan Blaney would announce he has signed a multi-year contract extension, actually a long-term contract extension with Team Penske. Now, it has not been clarified how long the contract extension is for Ryan Blaney, but it's probably at least a 3 or 4 year extension with the team. Blaney failed to win in 2022, but will look to bounce back in 2023. Around that same weekend, it will be announced that Bubba Wallace has signed a multi-year contract extension with 23XI Racing. Now, one thing to note about the Bubba Wallace signing is Bubba Wallace already had a contract through 2023. This just confirms that Bubba will have at least a couple more years, at least 2 or 3 more years with the 23XI organization. My prediction is it'll be around 2026 that contract ends. Bubba's coming off his best career season to date, winning at Kansas. He'll be looking to have a much stronger season in 2023 and make the playoffs. Later in the year, there will be this team that come out of nowhere called Project 91 as part of the Trackhouse Racing Group and make their debut with Kimi Räikkönen. Now, the goal for Project 91 is that they are expected to run 6 to 8 races in the 2023 season. Now, there have been other drivers like maybe Daniel Ricciardo who could run, Shane Van Gisbergen, Julio Castroneves. A lot of names have been linked to the Project 91 group, and it'll be an international presence team that have different drivers running in 2023. Then a few weeks later, it will be announced that Joey Logano has signed a long-term contract extension with Team Penske. Well, at the time of this contract extension, it was not announced how long the deal was. It was announced that Logano had a 5-year contract extension with Team Penske at Championship Weekend. That means Joey Logano will continue driving the number 22 for Team Penske through the 2028 season. By that point, Joey Logano will be 38 years old and kind of getting close to the end of his career. And by that point, I expect a lot of success for Joey Logano. Not much after this announcement, it will be revealed that Zane Smith will be returning to Front Row Motorsports in 2023 in the Truck Series, driving the number 38 car. It also will be announced on that day that Zane Smith will be making select Cup Series starts in 2023. Unclear what the number in the crew chief will be, but expected around 5 to 6 races, and the number will likely be 36 for Zane Smith. He does have a Cup start that came at Gateway, the race I went to. Zane Smith will get really good Cup experience in 2023. And then one of the biggest silly season rumbles that had come around was Junior Motorsports. Junior Motorsports at the time, there had been rumbles that Junior Motorsports was going to enter the Cup Series in 2023. They were looking to make select starts this year. Unfortunately, that did not come to fruition, and the earliest that Junior Motorsports could enter the Cup Series is 2024, as Kelly Earnhardt has stated. I think this would be a really, really big move for Junior Motorsports if they do jump up to the Cup Series, but it sounds like the earliest we could see Junior Motorsports jump up to the Cup Series is 2024. On Daytona weekend, there will be a lot of major announcements that would come out. The big first announcement, though, was Daniel Suarez. As it had been expected, that Suarez was going to sign a contract extension with Trackhouse Racing. It was officially confirmed on Daytona weekend that Daniel Suarez has signed a 1-year contract extension with Trackhouse Racing. A lot of people thought that he was going to get a longer extension with the Trackhouse Racing group. I think they're waiting on the TV media rights deal to get a longer extension going forward. But Daniel Suarez confirms he'll have a 1-year deal, at least for Trackhouse, but I think he will get a longer extension down the road. On that same day, it will be revealed that Eric Almirola will be returning to Stewart-Haas Racing in 2023, at the time in a multi-year deal. Now, that second year is an option year, so he could retire still at the end of 2023. There have been a lot of rumors that Eric Almirola is going to retire. In fact, Eric Almirola actually on my birthday this year announced that he would be retiring from Stewart-Haas Racing, but officially confirmed that he would be returning in 2023. His family let him do it, and basically Smithfield let him go ahead and do it as well. I think this is a massive, massive deal for Eric Almirola for him to return in 2023. And then at the time, after much speculation and talk about Kyle Busch, because there had been a lot of speculation that Kyle Busch was going to leave Joe Gibbs Racing and stay at Joe Gibbs Racing and all that, it was basically confirmed that Kyle Busch would be leaving Joe Gibbs Racing and would drive for Richard Childress Racing in 2023, driving the number 8 car. Now, Randall Burnett will be the crew chief for Kyle Busch in 2023. This is a big pickup for Richard Childress Racing. Kyle Busch has been getting a little bit of experience with Richard Childress Racing so far in this offseason, and we'll be looking in 2023 to have a major year with the Richard Childress Racing brand. And I think this could be a really strong year for Kyle Busch with the RCR brand. So if you're a Kyle Busch fan, you got to be really excited because this is a big move for the team, and I think he will be a championship threat. In fact, I think he could make the Final Four in 2023, but we'll see what happens. But this has been the biggest move at the point of the silly season. During the press conference of Kyle Busch's announcement, Austin Dillon confirmed to the media that his current contract with Richard Childress Racing runs through the 2025 season. I'm very surprised the contract is not longer, but I do think Austin Dillon is going to end up eventually getting a longer deal with Richard Childress Racing, probably this year or 2024, probably waiting on the media rights deal to make a decision on how long the extension is going to be. But I think Austin Dillon is going to end up eventually getting an extension here in the next couple of years. After much speculation and rumblings, a major shocking silly season move would happen where Brandon Jones would be leaving Joe Gibbs Racing and be joining Junior Motorsports in 2023 in the number 9 car. Now, it was confirmed in the early parts of this offseason that Menards will sponsor Brandon Jones in every single race in 2023, and Jason Burdett will be the crew chief for him as well this season. Brandon Jones picked up 1 win in 2022, and in 2023 will be looking to have a much stronger season and be looking to be a championship threat in the number 9 car. I think he could be somewhat of a threat in 2023. Then I believe around the same time, it will be announced that Ryan Ellis would be returning to Alpha Prime Racing in 2023 for at least 15 races and maybe more races in 2023. Ryan Ellis had some very solid starts in 2022 with the Alpha Prime Racing Group, so it's not a major shock and surprise that he's returning to the team in 2023. Then in the early portions of the playoffs, actually the second round of the playoffs, I believe, Kyle Larson confirmed that he has signed a multi-year contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports through the 2026 season. Now, very similar to Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson had a contract through the 2023 season, but this confirms Larson for another 3 years. Also, HendrickCars.com will continue sponsoring Kyle Larson in the same deal that he's had the last couple of years. So this is a big move for Kyle Larson going forward as he continues to try to win more championships and many more races going into the future. After the win at Bristol for RFK Racing Brad Keselowski stated that they are eyeing 4 cars in the future and they want to expand to a 4-car organization in the next couple of seasons. RFK Racing is a team that really kind of had a lot of struggles in 2022, but they look to be better in 2023 and look to improve as an organization heading into the 2023 season. After that announcement of RFK, JD Motorsports would make a pretty big announcement the week after, I believe on the Monday or the Tuesday after Bristol. They would announce that they are planning to run 3 cars in 2023. And at the time, they would confirm Bailey Curry that he'd be returning to the number 4 car for JD Motorsports. Bailey Curry had a lot of top 20s near the end of the season, so he looks to have a much stronger season heading into 2023 and look to help JD Motorsports improve in the season. During that weekend as well, it was reported that Chris Buescher has already had a contract extension signed with RFK since Brad Keselowski arrived at the organization. While it's unclear how long the extension is, some are speculating that it's right after 2024, really as long as we initially thought with the Fastenal news. I think when it comes to Chris Buescher, really good driver, a very solid driver who got a win in 2022 and looks to improve with the team in 2023. On that same week of the Texas weekend, Brandon Brown would confirm to the media that he would not be returning to Brandon-built Motorsports in 2023. Now, Brandon Brown has still not signed for a ride heading into 2023 as we get closer to the start of the 2023 season. It's a shame for Brandon Brown what happened with the whole Let's Go Brandon chant. It's very unfortunate, but Brandon Brown does not have a ride currently for 2023. And then a few days before the actual announcement, Jordan Bianchi would report that AJ Allmendinger will be officially returning to the Cup Series in 2023, driving the number 16 for Kaulig Racing. AJ made a lot of select starts in the Cup Series, actually got Kaulig's first ever Cup Series victory in the series, and not a big surprise that AJ is returning to the Cup Series considering how good of a driver he has been, so not a surprise that he is returning. On that same day though, with AJ Allmendinger announcing he'd be returning, it would actually be confirmed that Chandler Smith would be actually moving away from KBM and be jumping up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2023, driving number 16 for Kaulig Racing. Chandler Smith jumps away from KBM, and we're looking to have a great year with the Kaulig team. They look to be stronger in 2023. They struggled a little bit in 2022 and look to improve in 2023. On that same day, it was also confirmed that Landon Cassill would be returning to the 10 team for Kaulig Racing in 2023. Landon Cassill had a lot of sponsorship problems. Some people thought he'd be out of the ride with the Voyager issues, but he's back for another year. This is going to be a year for Landon Cassill to really step up, and hopefully Landon Cassill can take those major steps forward to continue driving for the Kaulig brand long-term and continue to be a successful driver in the team. Then a couple days later, it was reported from jski.com that AM Racing was looking to expand to the Xfinity Series in 2023. Now, trust me, we are going to talk about AM Racing here in the latter portions of today's silly season update, but AM Racing will be looking to expand their horizons and continue because they, of course, will return to ARCA and return to trucks. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but they were talking about expanding at the time for 2023. And then I believe on the Las Vegas weekend or the Charlotte Roval weekend, Daniel Hemrick would confirm that he would be returning to Kaulig Racing in 2023. Daniel Hemrick, who failed to win a race with Kaulig Racing in 2022, will be looking, though, to have a really strong year in 2023 and improve with the Kaulig Racing team and with the Kaulig Racing brand as he looks to improve in 2023. And then a couple days later, in the early portions of October, it will be announced that Justin Allgaier will be returning to Junior Motorsports in 2023 in the number 7 car. Now, this has been expected for a very, very long time, but it's not a major surprise that he is returning to the team. Considering the success he had this year, he scored 3 victories with the organization, and he will continue driving the Junior Motorsports brand for a very, very long time and will have the odds of being a championship threat again in 2023. Las Vegas weekend will be very, very interesting as a couple things would end up getting confirmed. As unfortunately, in really, really bad news, Kurt Busch would announce he will not be racing full-time in 2023. Now, Kurt Busch did say in the press conference and to the media that he hopes to race at least some point in 2023. He could run a few select races in 2023, but sadly and really unfortunately, Kurt Busch will not race full-time in 2023 due to concussion protocols and with him being a much older age, with him going into next year being 46 years old and 45 at the start of the year. It really is unfortunate to see what's going on with Kurt Busch being a much older driver. Unfortunately, Kurt Busch will not race full-time in the series in 2023. The driver who is going to replace Kurt Busch in 2023 is Tyler Reddick, as Tyler Reddick will join 23XI Racing in 2023 to drive the number 45 car. Now, one thing you know about Tyler Reddick is that he originally was supposed to join 23XI Racing in 2024 and was going to drive a third Richard Childress Racing car. But it was when it was announced that Kyle Busch would be joining the team, they basically confirmed they were going to buy out the deal with Kurt Busch's situation. They basically confirmed the news that we all thought. So Tyler Reddick will join 23XI Racing this upcoming season and be looking to be a championship threat with the 23XI Racing Group heading into the season. He hopes to have a really strong year and hopes to be a championship threat heading into the 2023 season, and will look to bring 23XI to a faster organization. Then it was reported a couple days later by Austin Kanensky that Christopher Bell had signed a long-term contract extension with Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, surprisingly, not a lot of people had reported on this when it actually got revealed, but thank Austin Kanensky for reporting on this because this confirms Bell will be staying with the team for a very long time because a lot of people thought that Christopher Bell was going to lose his ride at the end of 2022, which is surprising. Lucky for Christopher Bell, after a great year winning 3 races, he will continue driving for JGR and continue to be looking to have a great year in 2023. And then, speculation started popping up at the Las Vegas weekend as Kevin Harvick, and we had a lot of reports coming out from Gene Haas, Jenna Fryer, and other people basically reporting that Kevin Harvick might retire in 2023. Now, Gene Haas is trying to convince Kevin Harvick to return in 2024, but we've already knew some other stuff they'll talk about here in the future. Now, Kevin Harvick at the NASCAR Awards Banquet in late November, early December, he basically says he will make a decision on 2024 before Daytona. So we are expecting an announcement around Kevin Harvick's future probably in about 50 or 60 days from today when you're currently watching this. We'll probably know in the early hours of 2023 if Kevin is going to retire or not. But it sounds like there is a pretty high possibility that Kevin Harvick could actually retire at the end of 2023. And then it was reported, I can't remember who reported, I think it was Bob Pockers. It was reported by Bob Pockers that Rich Childress Racing might have a third car at points in 2023. Now, obviously, I would think that Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill, who are going to be both the drivers, I think, returning to the brand in 2023, they would think that they will end up having a third car, and those would be the two drivers that would end up driving that car in 2023. And they look to help RCR build up a brand for the third car, as eventually they're probably going to be one of the two drivers taking over for the RCR brand in the future. Then after Josh Berry won a Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, it was officially confirmed that he'd be returning to Junior Motorsports in 2023 in the number 8 car. Josh Berry picked up a 3-win year with the Junior Motorsports group and be looking to be a championship threat next year with some guys going up the cup, the 3 strongest people, that being Allmendinger, Gibbs, and Grayson. We'll be seeing Josh Berry probably emerge as one of the legit championship threats and will be looking to be a championship threat in 2023. On that same weekend, on the Tuesday after Las Vegas, Spire Motorsports would confirm their 2023 NASCAR Cup Series driver lineup. And we have some changes. So Corey LaJoie, of course, will be returning to the number 7 in 2023. He'll have the same crew chief that he had last year. Big change, though, is that Ty Dillon will drive full-time for Spire Motorsports in 2023. Ty Dillon's coming off a very disappointing season, so he looks to improve heading into the 2023 season. After some struggles, he's looking to improve and hopes to improve in next season and have a really strong year with the Spire Motorsports group. But some big changes coming from the Spire Motorsports group heading into 2023. And then I think on the same day, I can't remember who reported this, but it was announced that Chase Purdy would not be returning to Ettore Racing in 2023. Now, Ettore Racing has basically revealed that they will still have 2 trucks in 2023. They still have not announced their plans at this current moment for 2023, but they will not have Chase Purdy next year. We'll talk about Chase Purdy in a second because many of you already know that he has arrived for 2023. And then on the weekend of Homestead Miami Speedway, Trevor Bayne spoke to the media and says his future right now is still uncertain going into the 2023 season. Obviously, Trevor Bayne does not have a full-time entry currently at the moment, and with some of the things that have already been announced at this point, it's unclear what's going on with Trevor Bayne past 2022. Hopefully, Trevor Bayne could have a full-time ride, though, in 2023. And in the early weeks, and I believe on that same Tuesday as well, GMS Racing would reveal a second entry for 2023, as they will have Daniel Dye driving the number 43 for GMS Racing in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series in 2023. Daniel Dye had a really strong year in ARCA, so it's not a shock or surprise that we're going to see Daniel Dye driving the number 43 truck next season. He'll be looking to have a great rookie year and get a lot of fantastic and great experience in the 2023 season. And then around that same time the next day, DJR Racing would announce a major announcement, as they would basically announce that they'd be rebranding to Tricon Garage and will be moving away from Toyota. The number 1 truck will have multiple drivers in 2023, mostly Cup guys and Xfinity Series guys and some up-and-coming talent. Corey Heim will drive the number 11 truck. Tanner Gray will drive the number 15. And Taylor Gray will drive the number 17 truck. Tricon Garage will also basically have all the sponsorship and funding that Kyle Busch Motorsports have. Of course, they are a Toyota partner now, and all the Toyota partnerships go over to DJR Racing, also known as Tricon Garage, next year. They look to have a really strong year, as they had a really strong rebrand, and look to have a great year next season. And then a couple days before the Martinsville weekend, Jed Burton would confirm to the media that he would not be returning to Our Motorsports in 2023. Now, there's a lot of rumors and rumors around Our Motorsports we'll talk about near the end of this episode, but there's a lot of struggles around the future. Jed may have a ride for 2023. We don't know at this point, but right now, Jed Burton confirms that he will not return to the team. Very disappointing and very frustrating. He will not return. Hopefully, he does have an opportunity to find a ride for 2023. And then on the same day, it would be confirmed that Austin Hill will be driving for Beer Motorsports on a part-time basis in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2023 in 6 NASCAR Cup Series races. This includes the Daytona 500, Talladega in the spring, the Chicago Street Course, Michigan, Daytona, and Talladega in the fall. This is a really good decision considering how much experience we've seen Austin Hill have on super speedways, but also great to see that Beer Motorsports is expanding their program to more races in 2023. Austin Hill hopes to have a great year next year. And then on the Saturday morning before the NASCAR Xfinity Series race, it will be announced that Parker Kligerman will be driving full-time for Big Machine Racing in 2023. Now, the goal is that Parker will drive part-time with Henderson Motorsports in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series next year, and will also have his commitments with NBC in the NASCAR Cup Series as well. Parker Kligerman, I think, will be an underdog for the championship next year, and will be looking at a very strong year with the Big Machine Racing Group heading into 2023. He looks to have a great year with the organization. And then in the early hours of basically Monday the next week, Ryan Vargas would confirm they would not be returning to JD Motorsports in 2023. Ryan still at this point has not found a ride heading into 2023, but we know for sure now that Ryan Vargas, as of now, does not have a ride set for 2023 at this point, and we're getting really close to the end of 2022 offseason heading into 2023, so we'll see what happens with Ryan Vargas, but he right now does not have a ride heading into 2023. But on that same day, some good news for another driver, as it would be announced that Garrett Smithley will be driving for Busch Motorsports full-time in 2023, driving the number 78 car. Busch Motorsports, a decent team in the Xfinity Series, but I don't know how well he's going to do with the team. That being said, though, Garrett Smithley looks to have a really strong year and looks to have a great year with the Busch Motorsports team as we head into the 2023 season. On Phoenix weekend, Dale Jr. would confirm at the Bass Pro Shops headquarters, I believe in Missouri, that he'll be making 2 Xfinity Series starts in 2023, extending from 1 race to 2 races. He'll be running more races next year. Unconfirmed what races he'll run, that he'll have Hellman's on 1 race and Bass Pro as the other sponsor for the other race. Junior plans to run more races in 2023. Eventually, probably have long races in the future. On the same week, it was reported by Austin Konensky that Henderson Motorsports will once again return to Xfinity Series in 2023. Unclear how many races they are going to run in 2023, but they plan to expand their schedule and potentially run more than they already did in 2022 and be looking at more races run in the 2023 season with the number 17 car. And then Bob Pockus would confirm to a fan later in the week that Harrison Burton would be returning to Wood Brothers in 2023 as Harrison Burton is under a multi-year contract deal with the Wood Brothers organization. Harrison Burton had a decent year with the team, got a top 5, I think got 2 top 5s with the team, and looks to improve heading into the 2023 season. And then on the same week, in the later portions of the week, Sheldon Creed would basically confirm that he'd be returning to Rich Schultz Racing in 2023, driving the number 2 car. It's also been confirmed that Austin Hill is expected to return to Rich Schultz Racing, driving the number 21 car as well. Sheldon Creed will be looking to improve, though, in 2023 and having a much stronger season heading into the 2023 season. But after this, one of the biggest silly season bombshells would drop in this offseason as Jimmy Johnson would officially announce and confirm on the Friday of the championship weekend that he had bought an ownership stake with Petty GMS. Jimmy Johnson will drive select race in 2023 and will race in the Daytona 500. It is expected that Jimmy Johnson right now will run around 5 to 6 races in the Cup Series this year and also can make a select start with a team we'll talk about here in a second. The number has also not been confirmed and sponsors have not been confirmed for Jimmy Johnson at this point, but those are expected to be announced by the time next month rolls around. That will be expected before the end of January. And then on the same day, a couple more teams would make pretty big announcements. Kyle Busch Motorsports would officially announce their 2023 driver lineup, and they've got some pretty big changes. KBM will be a Chevy team in 2023, as they have announced that Chase Purdy will drive the number 4 truck in 2023, and also announced that Jack Wood will drive the 51 truck for 10 races that season. It also was confirmed that Kyle Busch run 5 races in the number 51 truck as they downsized to a 2-truck operation. Jimmy Johnson also could make a one-off start with the team as well, as KBM looks to have a really strong year in 2023 and hopes to be a championship threat like they were with Toyota. On the same day, at the same announcement, Rev Racing would announce that they would be entering the Truck Series in 2023 with Nick Sanchez driving the number 2 truck. Nick Sanchez, coming off of winning the ARCA Championship, looks to have a great year, partners up at KBM, and will get Chevy equipment as well and ECR engines to help the team. Rev Racing looks to have a great year in 2023 in their first Truck Series season. And then Johnny Sauter spoke, I believe it was to Michael Massey, works at Front Stretch. He would confirm that he hopes to make some starts in the Truck Series in 2023. This is hope maybe if like Thorsport or Young's Motorsports or something like that. He just wants to make select starts heading into the 2023 season and hopes to get that opportunity to race in any organization, where it's a fast organization or a slow organization. He hopes to race at any team heading into 2023. And then on the Saturday of the Xfinity Series Championship weekend, Mike Harmon Racing would announce they have partnered up with Gary Keller. Gary Keller has been a major partner with the JD Motorsports brand for many, many years, and now they will partner up with Gary Keller, who brings a lot of sponsorship and funding and hopes to make Mike Harmon Racing a faster organization. Now, obviously, at this current point, drivers had not been announced from the Mike Harmon Racing group. Mike Harmon's team tends to wait until near the end of the offseason to announce their plans, or late portion of December to announce their plans, but they have announced a partnership with Gary Keller heading into 2023. Now, during the press conference for the Kyle Busch Motorsports announcement, Kyle Busch confirmed to the media that his 2023 Indianapolis 500 opportunity has unfortunately dried up, which is really unfortunate, as Kyle Busch had been rumored that he was going to run the Indy 500 in 2023, but now it sounds like it will not happen in 2023. He had a potential to run Arrow McLaren next year, now, which was at SMP. Menards wanted to sponsor Kyle Busch. He had a sponsor, but unfortunately, he will not run the 2023 Indianapolis 500. Really unfortunate situation there, but it is what it is, and that's what happens when you have a team that doesn't want to run it. Penske's also not going to run another car for a NASCAR driver. On that same day, speaking to the media, Kyle Larson basically confirmed to Sim and echoed that his 2023 Indy 500 plans are currently unknown. Now, Kyle Larson is, unlike last year, is approved to run in 2023. But we're getting really to the point now where you're really going to have things signed. Now, there's one ride that could be potentially available for him, and that is at Dry Ramble Racing. They have one ride that is available currently at the moment that Kyle Larson could run. I just don't know at this point if that ride will be available, but he could still run the Indy 500 in 2023. It'd be a little bit quiet before silly season would hit up once again, as it was in the early days of December where Ty Gibbs would confirm that he'd be officially jumping up to the Cup Series full-time in 2023. But instead of driving the number 18, he would actually announce he'd be driving the number 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing in 2023 with Chris Gale as the crew chief. Now, sponsorship and funding has not been announced at this time, but Monster Energy is expected to sponsor Ty Gibbs in 2023. Ty Gibbs looks to have a really, really good year in 2023, and will have a new 54 number just to get him some new branding as we head into 2023. Hopes to have a great year. On that same day, it would be announced that Riley Herbst would be returning to Stewart-Haas Racing in 2023, driving the number 98. Riley Herbst has that Monster Energy funding, so that's a big reason why Riley Herbst is returning to Stewart-Haas Racing next season. Makes a lot of sense for him to return to the team in the number 98 car. Hopes to have a great season. And then the next day, in the late days of November, Stewart-Haas Racing would officially confirm all their plans for 2023. Ryan Preece will actually drive the number 41 car for Stewart-Haas Racing heading into 2023. Ryan Preece had been rumored. The team had been trying to get Ryan Preece to drive the 41 car, mostly Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick. Really wanted Ryan Preece to drive the 41 car, but Gene Haas was really wanting to keep Cole Custer behind the wheel. But I think when it comes to performance and funding, I think you got to look at Ryan Preece as a driver who makes most sense to drive this number 41 car heading into next year. Makes a lot of sense. Ryan Preece looks to have a great year in 2023. Because Ryan Preece is going to 41 car, Cole Custer will be moving back down to the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2023 and will drive the number 00, making a return to the 00 for the first time since the 2019 season. Look, Cole Custer struggled in the Cup Series, but I think he'll be really strong in the Xfinity Series in 2023. This is a really fast team, and I think Cole Custer is going to win a lot of races next year and be able to help out Riley Herbst quite a bit heading into the 2023 season. Right before Thanksgiving time, it would be reported from Adam Stern that Julio Castroneves is close to racing in the 2023 Daytona 500. Currently, at the moment, Trackhouse and the Money Team right now are the two favorite teams. It sounds like the Money Team is a team more than likely at the moment than Trackhouse Racing to potentially sign. Project 91 seems more unlikely, and it sounds like if Castroneves is going to run the Daytona 500 in 2023, he will basically have to run with the Money Team more than likely, but Castroneves is still in the running to run in the 2023 Daytona 500. Then it got reported around that same time that Denny Hamlin's contract with FedEx and Joe Gibbs Racing are expected to expire at the end of 2023. Now, Denny Hamlin actually spoke at the NASCAR Awards Media Days when that was available, and Denny Hamlin basically spoke about those situations. Denny Hamlin says that he's still going to remain an integral part of the team, and they're still working getting those kinks played out. They're trying to get Denny Hamlin that contract signed so he continues staying with the team long term. They're hoping to have a deal done in the not so distant future for Denny Hamlin as he wants to play a major integral role. If they don't get the deal done, though, he probably will go over to 23XI Racing, but he hopes to remain with Joe Gibbs Racing in 2024. And then around that same time, Colby Howard will confirm to TobyChristie.com that he would not be returning to McAnally Hilgeman Racing in 2023. Now, Colby Howard has at this point not announced his plans. There could be a couple organizations he could go to, like a Tory Racing perhaps, but right now Colby still does not have his ride announced at this point for 2023. He hopes to, though, in the not-so-distant future, have a ride signed. And the last thing before we got to the end of the last silly season update was Rick Ware Racing, as they have formed a technical alliance with RFK. Rick Ware Racing will be closely aligned with RFK Racing. They will actually be in the same building as the RFK building, so they'll be looking at a better year in 2023 than they did in 2022, and they hope to have a great year with the RFK organization. Now we get into everything that's happened since. First, on Awards Week Banquet, on I believe the Wednesday, Live-Fast Motorsports would confirm they'll be switching to a new manufacturer in 2023. They will be switching to Chevy, and they will have ECR engines. Obviously, Live-Fast Motorsports has been some rumors and rumors about the future of that team, if they were going to end up switching manufacturers or not. Now they are going to be switching manufacturers in 2023 as they look for a lot better. And this hurts SHR because they've lost their two teams that have had technical alliance with them, so the future of Stewart-Haus Racing could be uncertain just a little bit. But they will be switching their engines in 2023. And then rumors and rumors started going around the day after the silly season update that Roger Kroof will be actually joining GMS Racing in 2023, and it was confirmed the next week that he will be joining GMS Racing in 2023 in the number 24 truck, with the Wendell Scott Foundation sponsoring for every single race next season. Roger Kroof is coming off a very strong year in ARCA, did not win a race, but finished third in the championship standings and led the points for a majority of the season. This is a great opportunity for Roger. Had a lot of strong runs. He's hoping to make select starts at Alpha Prime Racing and Xfinity as well, and Roger looks to have a great year in 2023. Around that same time, I believe on the Friday, basically it was announced that Brendan Poole will be driving full-time for JD Motorsports in 2023 in the number 6 car. Brendan Poole had a good run with them at the end of the year at Phoenix, where he was really competitive with Eric Giesep on the car. Eric Giesep sponsored Out of the Groove. Brendan Poole looks to have a great year in 2023 with the JD Motorsports brand and help the organization be competitive. He's known to get the best out of equipment, and I think Brendan Poole will be able to do that. On the same day, it will be announced that Sage Karam will be returning to Alpha Prime Racing in 2023, starting at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Sage Karam expected around 15 to 16 starts next year and looks to have a better year as he starts to transition away from IndyCar and focus on trying to have a full-time NASCAR ride going forward. Sage Karam will continue driving for Alpha Prime Racing next year. And then on the money, about 2 weeks ago, we had a report come out from Joseph Wrigley and TobyChristie.com that the Money Team Racing is planning to run more Cup Series races in 2023. The majority of races are expected to be run by Connor Daly. This confirms that Casgrove will not return to the team next year, and that it's possible that Julio Castroneves could still end up running the Daytona 500 with Julio, with the team. So Julio Castroneves may end up running with the Money Team in 2023. That can end up happening, and we'll see if that happens in 2023. And then on the Monday later that day, Dean Thompson would actually announce that he'll be driving for Tricon Garage in 2023, driving a number 5 Toyota. Dean Thompson will be in very fast equipment. Tricon Garage expected to be a really strong organization heading next year. He'll be looking to get some really strong experience with the team and the organization heading into the 2023 season. Looks to have a really strong year. And then the next day, we had a lot of major announcements that would start happening. First, Bill McAnally Racing actually would announce their 2023 driver lineup same day of the Roger Kroof announcement. Christian Eckes is moving away from Thorsport Racing and will drive the number 19 full-time for the organization next year. His teammate will be Jake Garcia. Now, Jake Garcia will not be eligible to run a season opener at Daytona, as he'll be 17 years old at the race. He will turn 18 at the weekend of Las Vegas, which is the second race of the year. He's expected to get a waiver. McAnally Racing looks to have a much stronger year in 2023. And then around that same time, it would be announced that Sammy Smith will be driving full-time in the number 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series in 2023, with Pie Flying J and the other companies that have sponsored him in the past sponsor him in 2023. Sammy Smith will be looking to be a championship threat and championship contender heading into 2023. Looks to have a great year with the team. And then a couple days earlier, Brian Dozier would be announced he'd be returning to FDNY Racing in 2023 at Daytona International Speedway. Now, FDNY Racing is one of the only original teams that's around. In fact, they actually are the only original team that is around at this current moment. They will be entering Daytona in the number 28 truck. And then a couple days later, actually the same day as another announcement to talk about in a second, Kyle Busch's sponsors will be finally revealed on, I believe, the Thursday of last week or 2 weeks ago. The sponsors have been revealed. So we have Cheddar's, BetMGM, 3Chai, Lenovo, and Alsco sponsoring throughout the season. The Alsco and the Cheddar's cars have been revealed. The other cars will be revealed in the not-so-distant future. And Kyle Busch is also expected to have more sponsors announced here very, very soon. Big day for Kyle Busch as he has the sponsors announced, which are Richard Cho sponsors. He has sponsors now for 2023. And then on that same day, Joe Gibbs would officially announce the rest of their 2023 driver lineup. As expected, John Hunter Nemechek will drive the 20 in Xfinity for Joe Gibbs Racing. John Hunter had some select starts with the Joe Gibbs Racing brand in Xfinity and did a really, really solid job with that team. Looks to be a championship threat. I'll be looking to have a really strong year. And trust me, I think he will be a championship threat with Joe Gibbs Racing and Xfinity in 2023. On that same day, it will be announced that Ryan Truex will drive for them part-time in Xfinity for 6 races in the number 19 car. That means the 54 car will not be around in 2023, and the 19 car becomes a part-time entry. Ryan Truex had a couple decent runs with Joe Gibbs Racing last year, so this will be a really strong opportunity for Ryan Truex to get a lot of experience with the team. And then on the same day, it will be announced that Carson Hocevar will be returning to Nice Motorsports in 2023, driving a number 42 truck. Nothing else has been confirmed from Nice Motorsports at this point, except at this point that Phil Gold is going to return as the crew chief for Carson Hocevar in 2023. It's not a surprise. Carson Hocevar has done a great job with the team, and the team has big ambitions for the future. On the same day of the Joe Gibbs Racing announcement, Sam Hunt Racing would announce their 2023 driver lineup, and it's different. Kaz Grala is going to drive the 26 full-time in 2023, meaning that Sam Hunt Racing will have their first full-time entry. Their second entry is going to have Connor Mosack, who will drive the number 24 car for 20 races. That car will have other drivers in, potentially Trevor Bayne, Bubba Wallace, perhaps could get an opportunity behind the wheel of that car. But Sam Hunt Racing looks to have a stronger year with Kaz Grala behind the wheel. And then late last week, or basically earlier last week, it was announced that Daniel Ricciardo is not planning to race in NASCAR in 2023, but focus on growing his brand in the United States. It's very unfortunate because Ricciardo's name had actually been brought up in the conversations to potentially run in 2023 NASCAR, but now he's confirmed to not be racing in 2023. And then on the Sunday, it was reported, I believe, by TobyChristie.com and Stuart Friesen that Stuart Friesen will be returning to the number 52 for Homer Friesen Racing in 2023. Stuart Friesen is coming off a very good year. Actually got a win at Texas. They look really stronger with the Toyota brand, and they look to have a much bigger year with the Homer Friesen Group in 2023. And on this Monday, it was announced that Josh Bilicki will be driving for Live Fast Motorsports in 2023 in the number 78 Ziegler Chevy. This first race will be at COTA and will run a lot of races this upcoming season. Josh Bilicki, very underrated road course racer, will get a very strong opportunity to run up front, be competitive, in hopes to have a great year in 2023. And then later that day, it will be announced that Brett Moffitt will drive full-time for AM Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2023, driving the number 25 car. But the biggest shocker ball is that AM Racing is actually going to switch to Ford in 2023, and they'll have that for their ARCA program and their Truck Series program as well. The truck program has not been announced at this time. I would expect that Austin myself is going to run a lot of races, and also Max Gutierrez could make some starts with the team as well, but we'll see some changes for Brett Moffitt next season. Then, Stuart Friesen went on Sirius some NASCAR radio on Monday evening and basically confirmed some other stuff for Homer Friesen Racing. First, Jessica Friesen, she will race at Bristol Dirt next year. Second thing, Lane Briggs is hopefully to go full-time in 2023, and they're hoping to have him run full-time in the 2023 season, but it all comes down to sponsorship and funding. If they can find a sponsorship and funding, we'll see Lane Briggs full-time in 2023. And then a couple days ago, I believe on the Wednesday or the Tuesday afternoon, Jeffrey Hart would confirm that he'd be driving full-time for Alpha Prime Racing in 2023 in the number 44 car. Obviously, we knew at this point that Ryan Ellis would be in the 45 with Sage Karam, and now Jeffrey Hart will be in the 44. Alpha Prime Racing is expected to expand to a third car in 2023, as they want to give opportunities to Stephen Parsons and Roger Krug as well for 2023. Jeffrey, though, will be looking at a great year with the Alpha Prime Racing Group heading into the 2023 season. And then it was reported by the Door Bumper Clear Pockets that Colin Racing may enter a third car part-time in the Cup Series in 2023. Now, unclear what will happen because Brett Griffin confirmed this on Door Bumper Clear. Of course, he has been a spotter for Justin Haley the last year or two. He will not be spotting for him in 2023 and be looking to have a great year in his part-time entries, as because of the grueling schedule, he wants to only be part-time. And then in the last couple of days, the last two major silly season bombs have happened. First, Farmer Motorsports finally revealed their 2023 NASCAR Cup Series lineup. Michael McDowell will return to the number 34 car next year, and Todd Gillen will return to the number 38 car. What's changing is the crew chiefs. Travis Peterson will be the crew chief for the number 34, and we'll see Ryan Burgundy be the crew chief for the number 38. Farmer Motorsports will be looking to build off of a very good year in 2022 and be looking to have a great year heading into the 2023 season. They hope to have a really great year. And the final major silly season bomb is actually the big one, is Hailie Deegan. Now, for the last week or two, we've been kind of discussing this, but Hailie Deegan officially announced yesterday that she'll drive full-time for Thorsport Racing in 2023, driving number 13 truck. This also confirms that Thorsport will be switching back to Ford in 2023. She'll be teammates with Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, and Matt Crafton heading into 2023 as well. Hailie Deegan also spoke to the media yesterday, and she hopes to make select Xfinity Series starts heading into 2023. This is going to be a big year for Hailie Deegan really to step up, because Hailie Deegan is going to be in a championship caliber entry and hopes to have a great year in 2023. I think she's going to have an opportunity to really step up, and hopefully she can do that with the Thorsport Racing Group heading into next year. Hopes to have a really good year with Thorsport Racing heading into 2023. And hopes she can really step up in 2023. So that's everything that's happened in silly season so far. So what's really left heading into the end of this year? Well, there's not a ton of major teams that we need to know, at least for the Cup Series. The only major team we need to really know about is Ricker Racing. We do know they're going to have an RFK Alliance next year, but at this point, we need to figure out who's going to be driving for the team. I'm not sure what changes are coming there. Next, Jimmy Johnson's number. That has not been confirmed. I expect the second or third week of January. We're going to know about that. Jimmy's number is expected really, really soon. Next, Nice Motorsports. First and stuff to the grapevine that I cannot mention. There could be some big changes coming from Nice Motorsports in 2023. Next, Our Motorsports. Rumors and rumors about a potential shutdown for Our Motorsports in 2023. We don't know where some of the other drivers would then go, but it sounds like Our could end up shutting down. And then you've got other teams like Tory Racing that still have not announced their plans, but I would think that they probably will have Tyler Ankrum next year and maybe someone else being his teammate next year in 2023. So that is it for the NASCAR Silly Season Update and the final NASCAR Silly Season Update before the 2023 season. The next time I do a Silly Season Update, we'll be previewing 2023 to 2024. So I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links are below over that, and combo your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about today's NASCAR Silly Season Update, and are you excited for the 2023 NASCAR season? Let me know in the comments below. We're just 50 days away from the NASCAR race at the Busch Light Clash. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to be having 10 drivers who should race in the SRX. And then I think Monday, we're going to be having 5 bold predictions for the Cup Series season and for the NASCAR season in general in 2023. A lot of content on the way that I think a lot of you are going to be really excited about on this channel. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.